Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we cut through the noise, stack up the research, and really pull out the knowledge you need right now. Today, we're tackling something I think affects almost everyone listening: how to regulate your nervous system. If you ever feel like your default setting is, just a bit anxious, maybe overwhelmed, or always feeling rushed, then this deep dive is definitely for you. We've been looking at sources focused on these really actionable small steps, micro habits, basically.
Tiny things.
Exactly. And they're designed to gently kind of retrain your body away from that chronic stress state, but without adding more pressure, which is key. Our sources, they define the core problem really clearly. Chronic stress or anxiety, or even longer term things like CPTSD, they can leave your system just constantly running hot.
Right.
There's this great description from therapist Emma McAdam. She calls it being sympathetically dominant.
That's the technical term, yeah.
Yeah.
Fight or flight mode.
Totally. She says it's like your internal car alarm goes off at the smallest vibration. And it's exhausting, right? It's not just a feeling. It's your body literally stuck in that state.
And what's really crucial to get here, I think, is understanding the goal. We aren't trying to do the impossible, like eliminate all stress from life.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Instead, the mission here is to gently introduce patterns of safety and balance. We want to shift that equilibrium, nudge it towards the parasympathetic state.
Yeah.
That's your rest and digest mode.
Okay.
And we do it using techniques that are so subtle, your body almost doesn't notice it's being retrained. It just starts to feel different, better.
Okay, let's unpack that idea. Gentle retraining. Because if you're already feeling like that car alarm is suggesting some massive life overhaul,
Lots more stress. Yeah.
right, it's just going to trigger more panic. So the key, and the sources really hammer this home, is consistency, not size.
Exactly. Small is better here.
We need habits small enough they can kind of slip under the radar of that anxiety response.
Precisely. The sources are really clear. If the habit feels overwhelming in any way, it is too big, period. We're aiming to teach the body, really minute by minute, what safety actually feels like.
So that calm isn't this weird, scary thing.
Exactly. So it feels normal, a normal state to be in.
Yeah.
And the very first micro habit we found focuses purely on, the mental framing, setting proactive intentions.
Okay, this one, it kind of challenged my first thought, and I think it's really important for listeners. We often think we need sheer willpower, right, to fight stress. We say things like, I don't want to feel stressed today, or I've got to stop worrying about that meeting. But the sources say, flip that. Switch that negative wish into a positive, actionable goal. Why is fighting the bad feeling less effective?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it gets right to the sort of the neurology of being distressed. When your nervous system is dysregulated, that feeling of helplessness is often right there at the center. So when you tell yourself, I don't want to be stressed, you're still focusing on the stress. You're focusing on what you don't have control over, whether it's external stuff or just the feeling itself. But by contrast, setting a proactive intention, like the example from the source, I will notice when I feel overwhelmed and then pause. That immediately gives you something to do.
Ah, okay, direction.
Yes, you're defining a path forward. You gain this vital sense of control, even if it's small. And that control is like an immediate antidote to feeling totally adrift and helpless.
You're charting the course.
You are. And that certainty, that little bit of direction, is itself a microdose of regulation. It starts the process.
That reframing feels really foundational. Okay, so once we've got that intention set, we move from the mental space more into the physical, right? Implementing movement and pause routines.
Yeah.
The sources really highlight that nervous system dysregulation, it isn't just in your head. It shows up physically, like rushing around, shallow breathing, moving in these hurried, almost jerky ways.
Frantic energy.
Yeah.
And this is where we bring in microhabit number 2, the simple power of slowing down. We're deliberately injecting intention back into movements that we normally do completely on autopilot.
Right.
And doing that is an immediate signal to your body saying, hey, there's no emergency right now.
And the examples they give are so small, which is the point, I guess. It's not about, taking an hour for yoga.
Not at all.
It's about walking deliberately down the hall instead of rushing. Or maybe it's that habit of forcing yourself to take, say, 3 slow breaths before you hit send on a tough email.
Or before answering the phone, even.
Yeah. Or even just pausing for like a full minute before making a tiny decision like what to have for lunch. That counts.
It absolutely counts.
So for you listening, think about that physical feeling of rushing. The sources mention how often we treat simple tasks like, I don't know, putting away dishes like it's a race. I caught myself doing that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
All the time.
It's totally pointless. So what habit contributes to your feeling of being rushed? Is it slamming your morning coffee? Or maybe it's grabbing your phone the second your eyes open. That's the spot where you can target this slow down micro habit.
And that intentional slowing then perfectly sets up micro habit number 3, building dedicated pause routines.
Okay, so how is this different from just slowing down generally?
Well, if slowing down is about changing how you move during tasks, pause routines are more about creating these really brief, structured breaks between things at those key transition points during your day.
Ah, the transitions. Okay, I see. And the sources had some really vivid examples here.
They did.
These pauses are like tiny little islands of quiet stability. They reset your system. We're talking about rituals like taking just one single deep breath before you turn the key in the car.
Or maybe doing a quick shoulder roll, a little stretch right before you open your email inbox.
Yeah, before you let the chaos in.
Exactly. Brace yourself gently.
My favorite one, the one I think really captures the immediate hands-on nature of this, was the suggestion to just place a hand on your heart or your stomach when you walk in the door at home.
A grounding gesture.
Yeah, it's like a physical sign-off from whatever the day threw at you. A signal. You're safe now. You're home.
And the intention behind these really simple physical acts, it's actually quite profound. When you repeatedly insert these moments of stability, at the beginning of something, the end of something, during those transitions, you are actively training your nervous system.
How so?
You're teaching it bit by bit to recognize calm as a safe state, as a natural state, as a default state to be in rather than constantly defaulting back to high alert.
It can sound almost too simple, can't it? That just putting a hand on your heart actually matters.
It can seem that way.
But these repeated, tiny, intentional actions, that's the engine, isn't it? That drives the real long-term payoff. Actually repatterning your body's stress response. Let's focus on that mechanism, the change mechanism, because this is where the consistency really, really pays off. Why is that daily repetition of tiny things so powerful? Why can't we just, I don't know, meditate really hard for an hour once a week and get the same thing?
Yeah, good question. It's because the body, especially the nervous system, learns through repetition and, crucially, gentle exposure, not through intensity. Think of your nervous system pathways like paths in a landscape. If the panic or stress pathway is this huge 8-lane highway that you've driven down every single day for years.
Right, it's well-worn, easy to take.
Super easy. The goal of these micro habits is to start building a new path, a gentle, peaceful little footpath right alongside that highway.
Okay.
And every single time you deliberately slow down or you set that positive intention or you take that conscious pause breath, you're laying another paving stone on that new footpath. And consistency means that gradually, almost without you noticing it consciously, your nervous system starts to prefer that new route. It becomes easier to take. You're shifting the somatic default, the body's default.
So that shift means your system starts to lean more towards the parasympathetic, the rest and the digest naturally, without you having to force it.
Exactly. It actually becomes the path of least resistance over time.
And what feels really crucial about this, and the sources mentioned it, is that this process builds genuine resilience. It's not just about feeling a bit less anxious today.
No, it's about tomorrow and the day after.
It's about how you respond when things inevitably do get stressful.
Precisely. Because regular practice means that when a major stressor does hit, and life guarantees they will hit, you don't get completely hijacked by that fight or flight cycle for days or weeks.
Okay.
Your body has established this reliable, well-paved return route back to calm. You bounce back quicker. You recover more effectively.
It brings us back to that really nice analogy the sources used about consistency being like teaching your body a new language. Panic or anxiety used to be the only language it really spoke fluently, The car alarm language.
The only way it knew how to communicate distress.
Yeah. But now, through these little habits, intention, slowing, pausing, peace is becoming the new vocabulary. You're actually building fluency in calm.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And to really bring home the real-world impact, let's circle back to one of the reflection prompts that came up in the material.
Okay.
We really encourage you, the listener, just take a moment later today. Recall a time recently when you managed to set a clear intention. Maybe something as simple as, I'm just going to move slowly through my morning routine.
Or maybe just actively slowed down doing something.
Exactly. Just think.
Yeah.
How did that one small intervention influence your mood, your reactions, throughout the rest of that day?
Usually the answer is pretty revealing, isn't it?
It really is. It shows just how immediate the return on investment for these tiny habits can actually be.
That immediate clarity, that practical application, that's exactly why we wanted to dive into these sources today. So just to recap quickly, we've really taken a deep dive today into 3 core actions. First, setting those positive, proactive intentions instead of dwelling on the negative.
Defining the path.
Second, actively, consciously slowing down your physical movements, especially when you feel rushed.
Breaking that automatic pilot.
And third, building those small, deliberate pause routines, particularly at the transition points in your day.
Those little resets, yeah.
Our final provocative thought for you today, then, is really to put this into immediate, tangible action. And let's focus specifically on those transition points, because the sources suggest they're often where we rush the most and ramp up stress without even realizing it.
Right, those moments between activities. So the challenge for you, maybe right now or later today, is to actually list just 2 specific pause routines you can practice tonight or tomorrow morning. Get really specific.
Okay, like what? Give an example.
Okay, maybe it's a moment of just intentional stretching before you have your first bite of breakfast.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it's placing both feet flat on the floor, feeling the ground, and taking 3 deep breaths the second you sit down at your workspace.
Super small, super specific.
Exactly.
And then just think about how implementing just those 2, maybe 3 incredibly small rituals might immediately start to support your nervous system regulation.
How it might gently begin shifting your internal default setting towards that new language, towards peace.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.